I guess
way.
what she had asked me was, had the scheduling company called me? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, I need to tell you something.
Oh, by the
And
way,
so my client and I kind of look at each other because I had her on speakerphone.
what did she say?
She's like, there was a murder in the house. The wife had killed the husband and
Oh,
buried him in the backyard.
welcome to Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages. My name is Robi, and this is,
Chef?
and we are real estate professionals and have had years and actually decades of experience in real estate. And we've seen all kinds of chaos, craziness, and mayhem.
Oh, yes.
So, this is our first podcast, and we want to share with you sometimes real estate can be dark and even deadly.
Yes, and also how this even came about.
So, yes. So imagine if HGTV and Snapped had a baby. That's how it came about. So, what brought me in this chair was just an everyday, normal, everyday. I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Definitely not Wednesday because hump days are always fun and pipelines are not.
Yeah, there was no humping going on during that day. It was a unique day. Now, every day we have a pipeline call, and what that pipeline call is going down a list of loans that we are actively working on, and the processing manager basically calls out names, and we make sure that everything's staying on track.
Yes.
But in this particular case, it was a little bit more silent, a little bit more somber on a daily podcast pipeline call, and what had happened was processing manager had gone down about half the list and suddenly got to a name.
Yes, and one of our loan officers just kind of paused and it was quiet for a moment and she got a little emotional and said, well, they died.
Yes. And interestingly enough, that had never happened to her before. So we took a moment of respect for sure and then discussed the appropriate path forward because, for the most part, if a client passes away during a transaction, pretty much stops the transaction.
Yeah,
And
it's a little shocking. And I
yes.
was like, has this happened to anyone else?
And of course, I pipe up 3 times. Yeah, it's happened to me.
3 times?
And of course, through the team's meeting in complete chaos, as JW said, "What the hell, Robin? Like, what is going on?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, if you spent more than 25 years in real estate, you've pretty much seen a ton of stuff, chaos, craziness, and yes, you will even come across death and murder." So
Yeah. Well, and you are kind of our resident troublemaker,
I
so
am a bit of
didn't
a
surprise
resident
me.
troublemaker. So, but I filled the team in on what had happened. And basically, it was 3 deaths that featured into my pipeline over the years. The first one, it was a normal transaction, but during that transaction, we got to the finish line basically. And basically, the day before closing, the seller passed away. And there were 2, it was a couple, and they were both moving out of the house, selling to a young couple, and, the husband died, had a heart attack.
Good Lord.
And, of course, the first initial question everybody asks is, "Can the transaction move forward?" And the answer was, "No."
Well, and you're that far in a transaction, you've already got movers, you've already got your stuff packed, so I can imagine the panic.
Yes, but it came from the title company that was saying, "Hey, we can't move forward because now the house is going into probate, and those things have to be factored in, so no, the wife can't just sign over the property and still sell it." But at the same time, the buyers didn't they kind of went from exuberance of buying a home to, "So, where did he die?" kind of questions, and so they just decided not to move forward with the transaction. So, the second time, murder came to my pipeline, or not murder, but death came
Mhm.
into my pipeline, was a client, and she was an elderly woman and wanted to take care and make preparations for her family. And she, unfortunately, was diagnosed as a what is it? Phase 4 cancer.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and she knew she was dying. And she had one son that was an heir, but several grandchildren,
Mhm.
and her whole goal was to make sure that everyone was okay, cared for. She knew she had credit, she knew she had money, and she wanted to make sure that there was housing for them, that they had a place to land, that the family had a
Okay.
place to come. And it made total sense. So she was buying, she already owned one home, she was buying a second home and wanted to buy an investment property. And so we were working on that second home and making sure that that was happening. We knew that there was definitely a finite limit on time. So we actually fiercely went through the process and moved everything up, expedited everything, and moved up the closing.
Mhm.
And the closing was supposed to be Thursday morning. The client had passed away on Tuesday night.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And the family, although they knew it was coming, were completely devastated. But at the same time, the question was asked, can we move forward? I have power of attorney. And I said, unfortunately, and I had to tell the client, the power of attorney ends the moment your mother passed away.
Yeah.
And so it's these conversations that are very difficult.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, we're not attorneys, but at the same time, we have to convey over rights and responsibilities to our clients.
This is
And
something you can't really prepare for or prepare anybody in the transaction for if it
yeah,
happens.
and
It's just a dead stop, no
it's
pun
nowhere in
intended.
the training book either, you know? I mean, like, you are completely fumbling through the dark of trying to find your own humanity and empathy at the same time, recognizing, and this is kind of a sick twist, but you're also not getting paid.
Yeah, and
So,
we put a lot of work into stuff and only get paid when it closes, so, that definitely puts a wrinkle in things.
yes. And so, but the third time death came to my pipeline was probably the hardest, and the thing that impacted me the most is probably still with me today. It was, let's call the clients Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they were purchasing an investment property. They were working with a real estate agent, let's call him Larry.
Okay.
But it was one of those interesting transactions where everybody was just clicking and really enjoying working with each other. You know, it's the transaction where you not only work for the client, but they become your friend during the process and you enjoy working with them. Mr. Smith, he loved fixing up properties. He believed in real estate. He loved what we did. He believed in building wealth through real estate, which is something I'm very passionate about.
Yes.
And his wife was the bookkeeper, so he didn't have to mess with the paperwork, and they just leaned into their own personal strengths, and she was just a brilliant, vibrant, wonderful person. They just the couple in general. They were vibrant and lovely to work with. And so here it is. We get to the end of the loan closing and everything's ready. And I talked to him the night before closing, said, hey, we got everything ready. We're going to be there. The docs are already at title. Tomorrow morning, they're going to wire the funds. And the next morning, I'm like ready to head out the door with my bottle of wine and getting these celebratory cakes and
Uh-huh.
headed to closing. And I get a phone call from Larry, the realtor. And I'm like, thinking I'm in go mode. So I'm in closing mode. And of course, everything's ready. And we're going to be there with funds and
What'd
all
he
this stuff.
say?
He couldn't get out the words. I mean, like he had to actually stop me because he was almost choking on his own words. And he goes, Mr. Smith, he's gone.
Well, what happened?
That morning, apparently Mr. Smith had a brother that I didn't know about
Uh-huh.
who had, let's just say, some emotional and chemical challenges.
Okay.
And they'd never had a good, solid, calm relationship. And he showed up at Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith's home, and an argument ensued, and his brother shot him and killed him,
My
murdered him.
goodness.
And his wife watched.
It was in front of the wife?
Yes.
Holy cow.
And like, you're just in shock.
Well, yeah, especially, you know, the randomness of it and the violence
Violence,
of it.
the
Yeah.
Cain and Abel kind of thing that happens, and you just again, not in the loan officer train book.
No.
There's no training for this. And it just for such a lovely couple, it just everything stopped. I lost a client, lost a transaction, but more importantly, I lost a friend.
Yeah.
And it just stuck with me.
Well, that definitely would stick with me too, because you definitely form relationships with people and they become your friends when you're working with them. And so I can see how that would stay with you.
Yeah.
But it's these experiences that have born this podcast, which hopefully will be a little more fun. Um,
As we go along, because
yes.
not all the stories are terribly sad. Some of them are just dark and twisted.
Yeah, and I have my own personal story too. I mean,
Tell me.
being in real estate as long as I have, this actually happened pretty early on in my career. I was a first year agent. I was meeting a client at this home in DeSoto, Texas. And as soon as I got there, I always arrive a little in advance of my clients so I can turn the lights on, open the blinds, make the house as showable as possible. And, I went and walked around the yard. There's a nice pool in the backyard, all this stuff. And as soon as my client got
Was it a
there,
lovely home? Look
yeah.
normal?
I mean, it was a steal. It was like 150,000 for this almost 4,000 square foot house with a pool.
Now, is something triggering at the back of your neck or something? Like, why is this only $150,000?
I hadn't thought about it yet. I think I was still so shiny new that I was just like, "Oh, this is a great deal." And so I'm standing in the living room and the listing agent calls me. And she's like, "Hey, I need to tell you something. The scheduling company was supposed to mention this,
Oh,
but they didn't."
oh,
Well,
by the
I guess what
way,
what she had asked me was, had the scheduling company called me? And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, I need to tell you something." My client and I kind of look at each other because I had her on speakerphone. And
what did you say?
she's like, "There was a murder in the house."
Dun, dun,
And
dun, dun.
and the wife had killed the husband and
Oh,
buried him in the backyard.
usually it's the other way around, but wow.
Yeah.
In the
So
pool? Underneath the pool?
no, no, because that was my thought too. Like, did she build like a pool over him? Like, what had happened? And of course, my client looked at me and she noped the hell out of there. She was like, "Nope, nope."
Right?
I don't even think I sold her house after that. Like, I don't even think I talked to her again. She might have been so spooked. She was like, I don't know if this real estate thing is for me." Um,
You got ghosted at the same time. So we have murder and
no
ghost.
pun
Okay.
intended.
All right.
But so I looked up the information, obviously, because I had the address. I looked to see if there was any news reports and everything. And yeah, indeed, the wife had killed the husband. She had shot him 6 times,
Oh,
twice in the back of the head.
makes you wonder what he did.
Uh, yeah, I actually wondered that myself. I was like, I could imagine a wife killing her husband in lots of circumstances.
Oh, your husband's going to love that.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be used in my court case later. But so apparently her 2 children were in the home when it happened
Oh my
because it was
gosh.
in the middle of the night. Um, I think she had like a 5-year-old and 11-year-old.
Oh,
And
those poor
so
children.
the thing that caught her though eventually was there was a security system in the home, a
So
camera.
did she just leave him there in the backyard?
No, so she drug him out to the backyard,
Okay, so this is a woman with a mission.
yes, and wrapped him in bags and then, uh, buried him basically in like a garden area with some stone pavers on top of him. And all of
She put
this
landscaping on top of him.
and all of
Okay.
this was on camera. Like, you go
Okay.
you go through all this effort to
She
hide
gets
a
cool
body,
points to hide the body, and
but
then
you forget there's a security system, I guess.
there are always clues and there's always a breadcrumb trail.
Yeah. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, she took her kids and took them to Indianapolis or Indiana, something like that, and took them to her family, and then she fled to Mexico.
At least she had the presence of mind to let the kids be raised by someone a little more sane.
Yes, yes,
But
and
as we all do, we run to Cabo
well,
after murdering our husbands.
I
Was she
don't know.
ever caught?
Eventually, yes. So she was on the run for almost 8 years. It was like 7.5 years. And
She's good at it then.
during COVID, she tried to cross back into the United States in California. And probably because of COVID and the extra precautions, especially at the border, she was caught and apprehended
Well,
and
ICE does
actually
some
brought to
great things.
justice.
That's awesome.
You would say that,
I
Robbie.
know. Chaos abounds everywhere.
But, I'm glad that in this situation, justice was served because, if she had stayed in Mexico, she would have gotten away with it.
Now, has she been convicted of murder? Or is she
Yeah, she was brought back here.
okay?
to the States and stood trial. I'd have to check to see if it's still an ongoing court case, but I know that she was apprehended and charged with murder.
I wonder if she's in jail with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Hmm.
Hmm.
If only.
Right? Okay. More to find out. We will follow up on that later. So,
Yes. So it's just crazy the things that happen in real estate and then sometimes the personal things that you experience as well. Cause I never imagined that. And that story always stuck with me and to kind of follow it through the years and see it come full circle. It's just crazy. And the fact that she did it with her kids sleeping, like in the house with their kids sleeping, like
I know the audacity of it.
that's
The
crazy.
audacity of it and to expose your children to something so horrible.
Well, and I'm
But
sure her oldest was
I'm sure she
old enough
wasn't
to
quite as
remember.
sane as what we like to pretend she was, though. If you're going to murder your husband, might want to check it out.
Yeah.
Just a little bit upstairs loose, for sure.
Yeah, definitely an extreme situation. But so that's how, all of this was born is just, from a regular mundane day at work and these personal
Death in the
stories.
pipeline, and
And
you're walking all over a man's grave. So,
my goodness.
all right. So, at the end of each story, what we've decided to do is rank them on a scale of 1 to 5 with murder, mayhem, and mortgages. I'd like to start with yours, Crystal.
Okay.
All right. So, murder, yeah, you get a definite solid 4 for that. I would have given you a 5, except she did it on camera. Like,
Rookie move.
rookie move, rookie mistake. Okay. And then you honestly don't take the witnesses with you. You leave them there to tattle on you. It's just, she, yeah. I believe you said it was a foreclosure, did you not?
I think it might have went into
Okay.
foreclosure, and that's part of why it was such a bargain.
Yeah. So that's going to be a solid 3 because foreclosures have happened and, it's just is what it is. But on Mayhem, running off to Mexico, I'm going to give you a 4 because she stayed crazy and running around free for 7.5 years. So I'm going to give her a solid 4 on that too.
All
Yeah.
right.
So got 2 4s and a 3. So you get an 11. Boom.
Nice.
All right. Now on mine in Death in a Pipeline.
For yours, for the murder, I'm going to give you a 3. Especially because, it was a family situation, but, it wasn't, how do I put it? It wasn't like crazy messy. It was just, family argument that ended in his death, unfortunately. For mayhem, I'm going to give you a 5 because it's happened to you 3 times. And since you are our resident troublemaker, like mayhem, you're just mayhem.
I know, but I really honestly should write that version of the training booklet, I think,
Oh
for
my
how to
god.
deal with murder, mayhem, and mortgages.
Yes, death in real estate.
Death in real estate.
And for
Chapter 11.
mortgages, I'll give you a 3 because it happened, just during your
3
regular
times on
workload.
3 transactions. So,
Yeah, don't work with Robbie, you might die.
that is awful. Like, what a tagline. Come bring your mortgage to me.
But yeah, so
I'll be your final loan
we
officer.
have more stories for you. We're gonna kick it up a notch. Some will be local, some will be international, but we have a lot in store for you.
And if you're interested in submitting your own story, just shoot us an email. You can see it below or find it on our channel. And you can also find information on future episodes and where to get our swag.